Basketball season is in full swing at the Hall. The men's team are 2-1 after a loss in the Gavitt games to Iowa, but looking to bounce back this weekend. The women's team has suffered a couple of close losses against nationally ranked competition before traveling to the Virgin Islands next week. And the volleyball team looks to end their season on a high note. All this and more, I am Graham Marshman, and this is Hall Talk. Welcome back to Hall Talk. I'm Graham Marshman, joined by my analyst, Farnsworth Hendrickson. Farnsworth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. This is a great day to talk about sports.
So, Farnsworth, men's basketball recently suffered a tough loss versus Iowa. What did you see in that game that you think led to the loss?
Well, first and foremost, excellent game. I enjoyed it a lot. One thing I've seen they lack that is defense. They have been lacking in defense and teamwork. I've seen so many countless times of them not passing the ball to each other when they're wide open, and they're not even passing to their teammate correctly. And then once they do, they get stolen away by the other team and everything. So if they can touch upon those two areas, I believe they can do extremely job. Their offense is really good though too. What do you think about their offense?
Well, yeah, when you come like this Coach Holloway team, from what we've seen so far this year, they really have been working well together in those first two games against Monmouth and St. Peter's. But in this game, there seemed to be a little bit of a disconnect offensively. Usually, they're always switching around. You don't know who's going to have the points in each game. But it seemed like they were all kind of going for a little bit more personal game, like going in, driving in for their buckets. But it didn't seem like the connection that we had seen in those first two games, where they really working the ball around offensively, was there. And yes, there were some stupid throwaway passes that I think could have been fixed, a couple rushed possessions that they need to just calm down on and look for the open man. But that was definitely a struggle. We seemed disconnected, which was a real pity to see against a good Iowa team that we saw against a bad St. Peter's and Monmouth team. Another thing is, we mentioned the defense. Seton Hall has a notable absence of height this year. Abu Abiagu's 7-foot frame has held down the paint for years, but he's gone. While the team's perimeter defense has been phenomenal this season, do you see a lack of defense on the interior, and is that a concern for Seton Hall moving forward?
Absolutely. Their defense, the men's basketball team here at Seton Hall's defense needs improvement. I've stressed this enough. We already have 2 injured players, and I know once they get back, hopefully their defense can improve. But overall, right now, our defense needs to be improvement on. When we're offense, we're killing it, but our defense is not so good right now.
Yeah, well, our perimeter defense, I think, has been very good with Tay Davis and Dre Davis out there really working the perimeter, and we still have Dawes, who's been a real gritty guy on defense. I love to see stuff like that. But against Iowa, really, our biggest issue was that we did that lack of height, because Tyrese Samuel didn't play a lot of the game due to the being in foul trouble for most of it. So missing Tyrese Samuel being in there, who's our big guy, and having to play a little bit of small ball, it seemed like we really got bullied on the interior, and that forced us down more, because then to prevent the drive, leaving the three-point shooters wide open. So hopefully we can bring back some guys. Hopefully they'll be healthy soon, and we won't have to struggle with that interior defense as much.
Hopefully, yeah.
And moving on from that, the Davis brothers have been phenomenal as of late. A consistent and huge presence on defense, scoring on the interior. How can you speak of their play as of late?
As of right now, I really can't comment on it, but I've seen some great work from them. They've been providing the team with excellent work, excellent covers, great offensive, and overall they've been doing an excellent job on the team.
Well, yeah, Dre Davis did drop 13 points against this Iowa team, our top scorer for this game. He really looked like he was coming to his own, coming off the bench, really putting in some good offensive work. And Tate Davis, while he might have struggled on offense a little bit, his defense was very, very aggressive. He was very consistent. He was really getting all those Iowa players. Yes, he had a few turnovers, throwing some stupid passes, but hey, he's a freshman. He's still coming into it. That's a good Iowa team, and I think on defense he definitely proved his own. And that dunk he had was a huge momentum changer. That inbounds dunk. So I think Tate Davis is definitely someone to look forward to, and Dre Davis, he's going to be a really good player for us this season. And moving forward to Sunday, we have the Wagner Seahawks. Can you preview that game for me at all?
Like we've been talking about this whole time, offense, defense, players, we need just a good strategy for the game. We need an excellent strategy to go in and come out of something stronger for the team to improve on, and hopefully they can think of something they can do for this game. So.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of a disconnect still, but Coach Holloway did said that they have had players in and out, and it's really been hard for them to practice together. So maybe that disconnect will just fade away a little bit with time, and they'll be able to mesh more as a team. He did say that against St. Peter's, that when we blew them out, he said he was a little disappointed in his guys, and that he really doesn't think that they played up to the expectation that they can. So I'm really glad to see that he really wants that high standard for our team, and I'm really happy to see that. And Wagner actually just beat Temple, who just beat conference rivals Villanova. So we'll have to see how these Wagner Seahawks are looking, because Temple is a really good team who just beat Villanova in a very good game, and we'll have to see how we can match up against them. But I think the Wagner Seahawks, we should definitely take care of them.
Absolutely.
Moving on from that, we are going to take a look at women's team. They have suffered losses in 2 close games to Princeton and Columbia. What do they need to improve on in those 2 games?
Definitely on their offensive skills. I mean, well, first and foremost, Sydney Cooks, she's been doing an excellent job with their rebounds and stuff. She actually been doing a phenomenal job when it came to the Princeton Tigers. She battled hard with alongside with Park Lane. They battled it out really well, but sadly they came to a pretty heavy loss. Yeah. But moving on from that, they can definitely improve on their offensive skills and their defensive skills, and I think they can do a pretty good job.
Yeah, definitely. I think that this women's team, yes, they've struggled a little bit in these first few games, but Princeton is a nationally ranked team, and Columbia is a very good team too. Mm-hmm. So I think they need a little bit more time. We can't write them off yet. They're definitely a very solid and very good team, and I think that they will definitely improve. Against Columbia, Cindy Cooks kind of had a little bit, she didn't do as much offensively as probably we would have expected her to after that Princeton game, but I'm definitely looking forward to this women's team, and I think they can have a very good season this year. Baines also was phenomenal against Columbia, though, dropping 20 and 10 off the bench. Can you talk about her, seeing her move into a better role, seeing her maybe starting, for instance?
Yeah, she really hasn't had much of a really good crowd for her, but she's been doing an excellent job, and she's been improving really well. As soon as she keeps on grinding towards success, I know she's going to be an excellent player for the Seton Hall women's game.
Yeah, definitely. And her coming off the bench, maybe as a 6-man, I think that could be a really good thing, coming off the bench as the first scoring option when their starters are out, to be that first person. But then again, could she move into a starting role and help maybe take over, bring that bench effort to the starting lineup and maybe get us a little bit earlier into the game? We'll have to see. But the Pirates have a tough schedule coming up with VCU, Wisconsin, and Georgia as they travel out to the Virgin Islands. How do you see the Pirates faring on this away trip?
I know Wisconsin's usually good. In Georgia, there aren't no pushovers. But I know our girls can do an excellent job at winning this. They can secure that. They have excellent players. And Anaya Baines, she can do an excellent job. I know she's coming out of her role and everything, but if she does an excellent job at Wisconsin and Georgia, she'll have more opportunity to just expand on her whole player and everything. And I know her for a fact that Seton Hall will do an excellent job with her on her team, and then Sydney Cooks and Park Lane will do good too.
Definitely. It's going to be a hard run. That's very sure. But I think this is a chance for us to prove ourselves, to really get in there. And if we hand it to these teams in the Virgin Islands this week, we definitely can prove ourselves that we are no pushovers, and we can definitely prep ourselves for Big East play. And moving on from that, we are going to touch up on volleyball really quickly before we end things here. We face Georgetown, and Georgetown is playing Seton Hall right now as we speak, and we also play Villanova to end the season. How do you see these matches going for the Pirates?
Honestly, I've seen an incredible amount of effort from the girls. Jennifer Gora, she's been doing an incredible job. Definitely a lot of digs in her season and stuff. The other players, I know they're doing an excellent job, but I've seen a lot of movement from all of them. They've been doing great jobs. They've been seeing excellent teamwork, and I know for a fact they're going to do a great job this season.
That's why I think it's very unfortunate, because they have been playing very well as a team, and they have been really working as hard as they can. I've gone to the games, I've seen them play. There are no pushovers here, but they just can't seem to find a win. Only one win from their last 11 games. Only, I think, a total of 5 sets won from those last 11. It's unfortunate to see that that's how their season's going to end. They're not going to make Big East tournament play, and they're probably not going to make the national tournament either. So I think what they need to do in these last 2 games is really do the best they can to show these seniors off, to show the people who have put the work in, to show the ladies that have put all their blood, sweat, and tears into into their years here at Seton Hall, show them off in a good way, and probably get a win against this Georgetown and Villanova team.
Absolutely. I know they can do that for a fact.
Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me today, Farnsworth. I'm Graham Marshman, and thank you for watching Hall Talk.